Hey everybody, it's Casual Boobs coming at you with another video, and today we're going to be covering the T-832 and specifically the marathon, or I guess they're calling it a Battle Pass stage, but it's a marathon that surrounds it, and this will be a fast one. So we'll just really quick, we're going to cover the marathon first, and then the tank stats, then I'll show you a little bit of gameplay footage. But if you only have 5 seconds, I don't think this is worth it. I don't think you should waste your time. I think you should just play the game, and whatever you get for free from the Battle Pass marathon thing, you get, and then just ignore the rest of it. So anyways, all right. Okay, so first things first, I yanked this from Reddit. Somebody made this on Reddit, and thank you very much. And this basically is just a quick breakdown of what you will need to do for the battle pass to finish this thing, to finish the marathon. So what you'll need to do essentially is, because of the amount of points that you get per game and so on and so forth, if you are winning a lot or losing a lot, you'll have to just decide what that means for you. But basically, you'll need to do all of your daily missions, each of them. You got the 1, 2, 3, the first one, and then also there's the bonus one. You need to do all of those every single day, and on top of that, you'll need to earn 1,520 points over the course of 14 days. And what that basically averages out to is if you win a lot and you do pretty good, then that's probably 15 and a half average battles per day on top of getting your daily points, your daily missions. And if you're not very good, maybe you lose a lot or whatever, you don't get as many points average, you'll do 22 average battles per day. So 15 and 22 is the ballpark in between. It's worth noting that even if you do these things, you will not get the tank. You need to grind your face off and then also pay for the upgraded pass, which is 3,500, I think, 3,500 gold, and then you'll get the tank after you grind and pay. So that's a new thing, and they have their excuses of blah 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 blah. The company made us and whatever. That I don't really care. I don't really care what their excuses are. This is the first time you've ever had to grind and then also pay gold. I think it's crap. I think just for no other reason than that, you should boycott this. You shouldn't make this a success, because that's not what it is. The whole point of these marathons ever since they first started was, if you grind your face off, we'll give you a tank for free. Now they're saying that's not enough. We want you to grind, and also you're still going to pay. So I don't agree with that, just in principle. And even if the tank was awesome, I would still say don't let them win. But the tanks, it's fine. Yeah. So all right. So that's the short version of the marathon. It's not going to be easy. It's still 50 stages. It's a normal, like, normally you would get a month. What is it? They do the battle pass stages. There's 3 of them, and you get like 2 months or 3 months or something like that, or whatever. And so this is like the previous season of battle passes, battle pass that had 3 stages. Each stage was 50 points. 50, excuse me. Oh my God. Each chapter, there's nomenclature is ridiculous. Each chapter was 50 stages, right? And so this is basically a third of a battle pass season, but over 2 weeks. It's very compressed. This sounds easy, just I don't think it's going to be fast. They want you to work for it. So anyways, now to the tank. This is easy. If you know what a T-32 is in the tech tree, it's very similar to that. The armor is identical. Which is fine, right? The armor on the T-32, the turret is pretty solid. The hull is meh. It's not very fast. And then here are the main differences. So this looks like it's a little bit faster, but it's not. It's exactly the same speed as the T-32, which is fine. It's not a fast tank, but it's an average heavy tank speed. You lose DPM pretty substantially. Your reload time goes up quite a bit, and in exchange, you get really, really good gun handling. With me, with a good crew and not even purple equipment, but with just, like, running food with a good crew and fully field modded with the right equipment, I was getting my final accuracy down to 0.27, and you don't need a vertical stabilizer with this, because these gun stats are great, right? Going 0.06 is just great, and you'll see that it snapshots in really well. So the gun handling feels nice, and I will say, in 2016, this would have been a great premium tank. This is what premium tanks are supposed to be about, right? It's roughly equivalent to a tech tree tank, and it's debatable whether it's better or worse. And a lot of people on Reddit and so on and so forth are saying, "Oh, this is just a worse T-32." I don't think that's true, because a T-32 gun feels really derpy, right? These stats all work together multiplicatively. So because the turret traverse dispersion and the final dispersion are both lower, and the aim time is a little bit lower, Those effects combined make this thing feel like a laser beam. You don't need a vertical stabilizer on this tank, but on the T-32, it feels like you do because the whole thing like I said, all these stats work together. And so you don't need a vertical stabilizer. The gun feels great. And so I found that, yeah, in a 1v1 heads up, if you're in somebody's face, then you're probably going to lose the 1v1 with T-32 because you don't need that, you don't have that DPM. But most of the time in this game, you don't get a chance to unleash the full DPM of a tank on another tank for an extended period of time. Usually it's one shot, maybe two shots as an engagement or an opportunity somebody gives you when they make a mistake. You have one opportunity. Well, I found that the gun feels really nice because and I found that I don't know, for me, I value accuracy and hitting what I'm actually aiming at. So I like the T-832 a little bit better than the T-32 personally. But all of that's irrelevant because none of this is accurate anymore. That's not what premium tanks are in this game anymore. For better or worse, premium tanks now are substantially better than tier 8 tech tree tanks. And the power creep has exploded, and so everything out there is crazy good. And so in 2016, this would have been the ideal premium tank, and now it's kind of shit. There's just nothing to say about it. It's just not very good. It's like a Lava. This feels very similar to a Lava. They're kind of slow. It doesn't have a good as standard pen, yada yada yada, but the gun's really accurate. Like all these little pluses and minuses feel balanced like a Lava is, but we're past that right now. So you'll see in the game. But basically, this tank isn't worth owning at this point or playing unless you just like the way it looks, and it does look nice. Because, like... oh, come on. Visual. This is the unskinned version on Tanks GG, but it does look nice. Because you're going to be facing BZ 176s and Skoda T56s and Barasks, and everything is better than you. And that's just how it is. So, it's not worth owning. Straight up. And that's unfortunate. I don't want that to be the game that we play, but Wargaming have really accelerated the power creep, and the pay to win aspect, or pay for advantage, is really what it is. And so if you're not paying for these tanks that are the best tanks that you can play in their tier, then you're just going to get shit on by those tanks. So anyways, let's get into the game. It'll be a short one. Alright, so we're going to start out watching me play in the press account on the T-32, the T-832. I do not have a vertical stabilizer. I have improved aiming in the improved slot. I've got improved hardening, and then I've got a rammer and food and stuff. And so you can just get a feel for the gun handling. Again, it just feels really good. And you can see right there's a Leva to my left side, and we're about the same speed as that. I did run this with a turbo and an improved mobility slot for a test, and it didn't really make that much difference. It's just, there's nothing you can really do to make a T-32 fast. But here, look, so they're already over here, and we go over there, and whoop, we snap it in. Look at the gun handling on that. That was incredible. I was like, all right, this is the game. This is the game we're going to show. And then this happened. You see we've got BZs and Barasks already up in the donut. And this was also the point where I was like, okay, this is the game we're going to show. Because this now you can make the argument that I crossed here even though those guys were spotted, so this is on me. The first one was for free, and the second one I thought if I angled enough that he'd have tracks to hit, and they would get eaten by the heat rounds would eat the tracks. But they didn't, and so I took 2 rounds for free from the T-77, and then the BZ slapped me with HE rounds for 150 or 125, which doesn't sound like a lot, but this thing when it pens does 320, and so. That's it. Like, that's half, right? And I paused the game right here, and we're going to pause the replay, because this is the end, right? Right now, because the other tanks on the other team has, you know, the 2 BZ 176s and da-da-da-da-da, and we have a bunch of other slower tanks. Our guys are stuck on the ramp at H5 and J5, and they're really kind of screwed, because you can't... Now that the mediums on their side have taken E6, the little ridge there, and they've also got the donut at F3, those guys are all stuck there, and that's what happened. This is a perfect example of those tanks. There's nothing wrong with those tanks, but because the other tanks in this game, the 176 and so on, are so much faster, and everything in this game is so much faster, and there's no weak spot on the turret for a 176, at least nothing that you can legitimately hit with any of those tanks. Those guys were just, you know, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 tanks that are just stuck on the ramp. 2 guys didn't even bother trying. This game is over, and this is a perfect embodiment of what is wrong with the game right now and why this tank isn't worth owning. is because there's so much other better stuff out there that makes this game, if you're not playing one of those tanks, you're caught out. Those guys are in position ready to farm you, and there's nothing you can do about it. This, I didn't even get to the little rock I wanted to get to it at G5 before I'd lost half my hit points. Perfect example of, yeah, I managed to snap that EBR and the gun feels really nice, and that was cool. And that shows you what the gun can do. But that doesn't save you from the fact that you are just going to get bitch slapped in this thing by every other tank that is newer and better and more power creepy. And there's nothing you can do about it. You can't go heads up with a 176 in this tank. Um, and so, yeah, I don't think that this is a good direction for the game. I don't think. I'm sorry, not this. This tank. This tank is good. Yes, I wish there was more stuff like this because this feels balanced. Everything else, the way you can't put the genie back in the bottle, and so everything else that's out there right now just makes things that are actually balanced totally invalid. And so this tank is unfortunately not worth playing or owning unless you just like the look of it. Um, and that's too bad. So I would not waste my time. I wouldn't waste my gold. What they're banking on right now is everybody just got done with holiday ops and they've got lots of gold, and they're probably a little tired from grinding a bunch of holiday ops credits and stuff, and they're banking on people saying, "Oh, whatever, it's a new tank. I'll just pay a bunch of gold and make this marathon go away and get the tank on day one." And a lot of people did that, but it's like 12,500 gold to finish the pass, plus 3,500 gold to get the premium, yada yada yada. So we're looking at like what, 16,000 gold to get this tank. And so they want you to do that and pay and make this go away. So don't let them, don't do that. Just hang on to it, make them earn it. If they want your gold, they ought to give you something worthwhile, which unfortunately just means more power creep. It's just a really unfortunate circumstance, and I have to wonder how long the game can continue on this trajectory. Doesn't seem very healthy. So, anyways, that's it. I hope this was helpful and useful. We'll see you on the next one, guys. All right, bye.